Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, and welcome back. It's your boy Harstem here, coming right at you with a best of 3 between Europe's finest. Clem in the bottom left as our blue Terran player, and in the top right spawning as our red Protoss, the man, the myth, the legend. It is of course the Danish MaxPax. At least we think he's Danish. That's what he says at least. No one has seen him yet. He hasn't shown up to an offline event as of this day, but I'm sure that in the future he might end up showing up. So he opens up with a... Ooh, what is that? A little bit of a Reaper wall over here on the side. Clem, on the other hand, is just fairly standard. He's always... I don't want to say standard, but he does things in his own little way. So he likes these... Wait, what is he doing here? Oh, he's not going for an SCV scout. I was going to say he usually always SCV scouts. He's such a safe-ish kind of player, but not this time. He's deciding to open up with what seems to me like it's going to be a Marine into Factory. And this is a really cool little build order here that Clem is playing. That is a really cool little build order. Now that Factory is very far back, which makes me believe this is not going to be some type of Reactor Hellion builds. Could be Cyclone attack, really quick, or just a mine drop of some sort. So we do have a bunker being constructed as well as the second depot going down now. The other side of the map we have Warp Gate starting, and that makes sense because MaxPax is a Twilight Council player. So with that quick Warp Gate most likely will be following it up with a Twilight Council indeed. Or perhaps he's... Yeah, actually went for the cancel here. So 2:30 Stargate, that is fairly late. That is fairly late indeed. First unit here is going to be a Hellion, and we do have a worker out on the map, and it doesn't seem to be just for a scout. What are we doing here, Clem? 244 as the starport goes down. Huh. So it's not reactored Hellions. Perhaps it's a triple Hellion drop then? This is a very old school build. Okay, yeah. I was digging in my tiny little brain there, thinking, what could this be? Because usually you only see this type of starport either with a factory already proxied or with a factory at home producing reactored Hellions. It's very rare to see this build being played quite like this. So that's cool. It's cool. I mean, yeah, I do like that. Are there any tells here for MaxPax? So if you're a Protoss player and you're seeing this, like, well, 5 Marines here is a little bit suspicious. That should be 7 at this point. So your opponent is down 2 Marines for no real reason. You know that it's factory. You know that it's factory before reactor in that case. That's the first piece of information that you get. And then you haven't seen a Hellion out yet. So perhaps your mind is going to tanks or to Cyclones as a... These Hellions are just going to go by unscouted. This is a very frustrating situation here. I do believe that MaxPax just barely saw that. Not sure if he's going to be capable of being in position. He's moving in towards the main base. Goes for a full wall in his natural. But this is complete. Yeah, this is locked. This is locked here, my friends. Here comes the triple Hellions. Are there any units ready? No, there are none. Absolutely none at this point. A single adept, but that's not going to be good enough. 5, 6 workers will fall here. Make that 7, 8. Yeah, more and more workers are going down here. 10 workers, brilliant pickup micro as well coming out of Clem, who takes out basically every single worker that has ever existed here in the main base. The Oracle now activates its pulsar beam, trying to get rid of that Hellion, and eventually it will, but not before 15 workers do go down. Now, one positive little point here for MaxPax is that his third base had already started. He already has a tech structure out, so this is not really the end of the world. But it does look extremely bad for him. Let's just face it. This looks extremely bad for him right now. Clem up 7 workers. Terran is never supposed to be up workers, especially not this early in the game. Sometimes in like the mid-game stages, you see an equalization of the worker count, or maybe Terran, you know, get 1 or 2 workers and have like 63 workers against 61. It's not that big of a deal at that point. But in the early stages, right now being down, MaxPax is going to struggle getting any type of infrastructure. It's adding a second Twilight Council as well. A complete failure here of a game coming out of MaxPax, thinking he didn't have that Twilight yet, but his charge is almost finished already. Does start a Forge as well. He's definitely trying to get some of these some of these gateways out and then follow it up with a bunch of charge lots, I'm just having a difficult time seeing him actually survive the first push already. I mean, first push is coming out soon. There's going to be charge. That's great, but there's 19 Marines. There's 1 Marauder. There's going to be Stim, combat, +1. A tank, a Cyclone. I'm just not really feeling it here. Now, it's a given that Stim is still a solid minute away from finishing up. And a lot can happen in a minute, but I don't think MaxPax is going to find some treasure chest here buried on the map, which will give him 35 zealots, which honestly is kind of what he needs at this point. Stasis Trap is going to get triggered here, as Clem's move out hits the map. MaxPax is looking for damage, will not quite find it yet. Hasn't killed a single unit yet. Another Stasis Ward here out on the map. You have a probe checking the bottom side. Oh, this Stasis Trap will catch 2 Marines. Stim is still about, what, 15 seconds away from finishing. 10 on combat, 15 seconds away on Stim. We're gonna need to wait just a little bit longer here for Clem to move in and try and deal some damage. I still believe he has full potential to go in and to go in hard as well. I mean, he has the +1 against the 0-0 Protoss army. This is not a lot of zealots. Zealots are being sent across the map as well, so this is it. This is actually just... This is it. It's all he has. He's not going to be capable of coming in from a flank here either. There's not enough zealots for that. I think he's just going to get kited to death right now. These Marines do get picked up. Nice micro move there out of Clem, as the zealots are looking for a third base that isn't even there yet. Third base is on the high ground. Clem continues his push in. There are 7 gateways, soon to be 6. Here come the lifts on the mines. Those were good. 1 mine does still get a connection, but I think the Marine count is simply just too high. The healing of the medevac is too strong, and the sustain of this army is just there. Look at these Marines, still pretty much full health, even just after a stim, looking solid. GG gets called as Clem wins game number 1 here in this best of 3. And after that rapid first game, we have officially entered the premises of game number 2. That's going to be played here on Ancient Cistern LE. So Clem opens up with a Proxy Rex out here, and is most likely not going to be adding a second gas for this, but instead a second barracks. Now, how do I know all this? It's because I'm out of practice with Clem. This is a very particular build order, a very peculiar build order, and a very cool one as well. So this is a fake Proxy Marauder opener, okay? A fake Proxy Marauder opener. Just think about that for a second. The fake Proxy Marauder opener has been very popular, or not the fake one, the real one has been very popular as of late at the high level of Terran vs. Protoss. Players like Cure have been playing it an absolute crap ton, against MaxPax himself as well, but just in general, this has been a popular build in Korea. What you do is you get 2 barracks, you pump out Marauders at a high pace, and especially on maps without a ramp, this is really difficult to hold. It is, I'm not joking, it's actually very tricky for Protoss to hold it. Even if you scout it, even if you know it's coming, your micro needs to be on point, your defensive response needs to be on point, like you can't make a mistake. So MaxPax scouts this, and this looks exactly the same. Single gas and 2 SCVs missing. So you're scouting this as a toss, and what is your response? Alright, you get yourself a Zealot, you'll get a Stalker, and you follow this up with, most of the time, double batteries. Now, right now, MaxPax hasn't quite scouted where this double barracks actually is positioned. He can't go too deep though with the Zealot often, but now he does get the warning that there's Reapers out. So he's already invested a lot in this defense, and he hasn't taken any damage. Imagine what could happen. Imagine what could happen if he does end up taking damage as well, which now is unlikely because he scouted everything. 3 Reapers are going to meet this 1 Zealot. Ooh, sloppy little control there out of Clem. Shoots 1 more time, loses a Reaper against a Zealot, and 1 Stalker is not quite what you want. Sends these Reapers across the map and moves, well, back home with these Marines, hopefully into the bunker. Tech lab on the 1 barracks. Other barracks is just going to remain there all by itself. This Marine also manages to hit the bunker. Simultaneously, though, what do we have here? 2 Reapers jumping in. That means a couple of workers might just end up falling. That's 1 worker going down. This micro is very good indeed. Second worker goes down. Third worker will fall. This Reaper does get to survive as well. So 3 workers for 1 Reaper is an okay trade. Orbital Command does finish up. Don't quite think you want to chase these Stalkers yet. Oh, loses not just a Marine, but also a couple of SCVs pretty much for free. Not the greatest play here coming out of Clem, who does in a way have these Stalkers locked in and is still in a fine position, right? 25 workers to 29 at this point in the game is fairly decent. It's not as good as as last game, but then again, no game will be as great as last game because that was freaking 40 workers for Clem against the 27 for MaxPax. It's not quite what you want. Marauder does make it out of the barracks and will definitely help out. Mules are now being landed down. I feel like if Clem hadn't lost those 3 SCVs for free, which really were for free, he just forgot to micro them. Thought he could chase away those Stalkers a bit faster. I think Clem would be in a pretty decent spot, and maybe you could even say he'd be pretty far ahead here. I mean, Stim already on the way. We have a starport coming out as well. eBay. It would have been like 33 workers to 36. And right now, Clem is also gonna get that full scout in. He's gonna get all the information that he needs. Saw 2 gateways in the front. Is going to perhaps even see 1 more gate in the far back. Now, we'll not see it, but yep, he will. 4 gateways, a prism, most likely on the way, and blink. Now the ball is in Clem's court. He needs to articulate a proper response here to what MaxPax is doing. Goes for a second bunker on the low ground in a peculiar position. Very peculiar position indeed. Right next to the other one. So far forward, far away from the potential repair of helping SCVs here. This depot is barely not going to finish up. That's frustrating. That is very frustrating. But it's also the truth. Tank is on the way. Dark Shrine is being constructed behind this. MaxPax feeling desperate in his position currently. As 2 more pylons are now coming out. The DT is a unit for the desperate. And MaxPax right now is desperate. He needs to get damage done, but can he get damage done? Do we have a blink forward? No, not a blink forward. These Stalkers should not be capable of breaking this wall. These 4 Stalkers in the main base should not be capable of doing, well, much of anything, to be quite honest. Blinks forwards here, gets 2 shot by the tank, or gets 2 volleys on it by the tank. These Stalkers are now all without shields, or practically without shields. 6 SCVs do go down. Decent start here for MaxPax. Perhaps still needs a little bit more though. Does not have the infrastructure yet to really play a proper macro game at this point. Tank is being set up and poof. There go the Stalkers. Bunker could perhaps use a little bit of repair. As this prism is being chased. It's being kept in its cage here. This top right side cage by these 2 Marines. Recall is frustrating because obviously TTs are going to be delayed as a result of that. Now please do pay attention to the complete lack of infrastructure here that MaxPax is working with. He has 4 gateways. Yes, that's great. He's now trying to get a robo bay as well as a forge out and charge. That's a lot of investment in tech, and none of that will pay off if Clem gets to move across the map together with combat shield and concussive shells, because then Clem's just going to hit before any of that really has an impact on the game. The thing that could change everything though might be those DTs. MaxPax going in without checking the... what? Without checking the amount of scans. You can't be serious. Clem throws down a mule as this DT started walking in. This is the most unfortunate timing I've seen in my entire life. MaxPax played it incorrectly, but gets the correct outcome here. He should have been checking the orbital command energy. He did not, but it doesn't matter. Main base completely empty. Can't be mined from. The next scan is like half a minute away. Here we do get a move out of Clem, but I'm not sure if this is going to be enough. Colossi not out yet. 5 SCVs go down. I mean, this Colossus is going to change the game. Absolutely going to change the game. Thermal lands, 80 seconds to go. If this Colossus comes out and stands in a super battery, I mean, this is a hurried push at this point for Clem, right? He needs to go now. If he can't go now, then he pretty much just loses. Clem is not... Okay, there we go. I was like, wait, is he not seeing that DT? But he definitely is. At the same time, we do have a bit of an engagement here. Medevac in trouble. Is not being sniped down quite yet, as the Zealots are trying to chase. Interesting blink forward. Takes out one Marine. This Observer provides vision of the rest of the army. MaxPax now heavily pulling ahead in supply here. 117 to 105. That is never a good sign for the Terran if they're down in supply while trying to play a 3-Rex build. There's no third CC out yet. MaxPax is probably already thinking of trying to take a fourth base at some point in the future. Zealot run-by is also being set up here, trying to cancel a third base that doesn't exist yet. Imaginary third. Templar Archives coming out as the gateway count continues to grow up to 8. Without a bunker here, this Zealot run-by could be somewhat dangerous. Clem, what do you have in store for us? Can we get some sick micro? I guess the answer is no. If you have pure SCVs and one Marine, there's not that much that you can do. Here comes the push forward out of Clem. Has a big army, 69 army supply against 67, but 2 Colossi. And especially once the super battery is going to get used here, which is kind of inevitable, this will be really difficult. Cheeky little move there with the blink dodging the mine. Third CC still not on the way here for Clem, who now opts for a massive drop in towards the main base. Question is just, will this drop really do enough? I'm not so sure. Well, good start. Takes out a pylon, takes out a Templar Archives. Didn't really get to reach anything else yet though. More pylons now falling as the Zealots have arrived in the main base. Simultaneously a rotation towards the top side. Clem trying to take out the fourth base, which isn't quite there yet. One medevac did end up going down here on the bottom. Didn't really catch it, but before there were 3 medevacs, now there's only 2. So now I gotta draw my conclusions somehow. Templar Archives once again being rebuilt. This fourth base is now on the way. I mean, this is still just a massively terrible game here for Clem. As MaxPax is so far ahead. Complete control, has Zealots everywhere, has units positioned in multiple locations. MaxPax now going for a move out despite knowing that he's up 2 mining bases, or at least 2 bases that are in position. Triple mine drop is being sent out. I'd love for this triple mine drop to wait for the armory to finish. That really could change the outcome of this mine drop. However, MaxPax does end up spotting it with a Zealot up there and immediately starts cannon. So yeah, it's unfortunate for Clem once again, who's just struggling to get anything done here. Triple mine drop. We'll get some connections, I guess. Nice retargeting out of Clem. As we have, well, no real damage as of yet. Here we go. Some units are being taken out as these probes now finally gonna die. 3 workers do go down. Clem bought a little bit of time, but he needs more than just a little bit of time. He needs a lifetime, honestly, to get back into this game. 2 mines do get saved, which is kind of nice. Maybe still has some potential to go towards the natural. Taking out workers is a good way to get back into the game. Another double mine drop is heading out, perhaps towards the 4th base. If Clem can get damage with these mine drops and then survive, maybe there's a chance. Mine's not burrowed at home though, as these Vikings in a world of trouble as well. There's no observer with this army, but there's also nothing that can deal with 4 Colossi. Here comes the mine drop. Cannon is now, well, almost done, and MaxPax is quick enough to see this coming. I don't actually think Clem has any chance whatsoever. Is there any ghost out yet? No, not yet. GG gets called. The series is all tied as MaxPax wins game number 2. That brings us to game number 3, in which MaxPax is doing an admirable job here with his first worker. Delaying his opponent's natural for a tiny tad. It's not open up with a Reaper wall here, by the way. It's interesting to know. It's a good map for a Reaper wall. It doesn't go for it. Interesting. Very interesting indeed. Similar opener here out of Clem as he played in game number 1. I like these types of builds, but playing them twice, I mean, it carries significant risk, that's for sure. There's no SCV being sent out though to build a starport quite yet. I do feel like time is starting to press a little bit there. Nope, the SCV isn't being sent out either. Could still be a similar build, but just with the starport at home. Would make it significantly worse though. Would hit a little bit later. But a little bit later could mean 2 more units at home. Twilight Council as the first building here. Interesting. Very interesting. Huh. MaxPax completely playing as expected on this map. MaxPax, of course, is the 4-gate Blink master. And if I were to expect anything out of him on this map, which is known as the 4-gate heaven, it would be 4-gate Blink. And he's indeed setting up for that opener. It does start with a double Adept run by here into triple Marine and a Hellion, and no, perhaps an odd start. We'll kill 2 Marines in SCV and deal some damage to this Hellion, so I'm kind of okay with this. I'm okay with how this went for MaxPax. I'm definitely fine with it. Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool. Second Hellion remains hidden, and this is what I was talking about. Now imagine, had Clem gone for the same build, what would the result have been? It would have been that pretty much at 4 minutes and 5 seconds into the game, there would be 3 Hellions in his main base. How ready is MaxPax for that right now? The answer is none. He is a 0 ready for this at the moment, okay? He would have had 2 Stalkers, both which would have been out of position. Now, this is going to hit significantly later. It's hitting so late. There's going to be 4 or 5 Stalkers out at this point. Now, there is a battery in the main base from earlier on. MaxPax perhaps was expecting a Reaper opener and build a blind battery. This is actually going to help him out so much in this particular situation. 3 Hellions, of course, still one-shot workers. But look at what happens here. Oh, wow, that's actually a 6-shot. Holy crap. That's a nice control out of Clem. 5 workers going down immediately. I was gonna tell you how much this battery actually mattered, but so far it really didn't do very much. It healed some of these probes, I guess, which is nice. Now we have a move out coming out of Max. What does Clem have at home? It is a second bunker once again coming out. Tank trying to be in position in the main base. With a second tank at 80% done. 90% is done. This tank is officially out. Theoretically already here. Can you just blink into this at this point is the question. I think the answer... Well, it is 11 Stalkers, isn't it? Uh-oh. Here we go. 2 tanks are set up. Here comes a move in with the Adept. Tanks the first 2 shots. Oh, not quite enough Stalkers to one-shot the second tank, but... still gets out with a lot of Stalkers, took out 2 tanks. Was this necessarily that great though? Resources lost show a very even count. So we have an auto turret on the other side of the map as well. A Raven managed to sneak out. That is a couple more workers that will go down. We still have 3 Hellions in the medevac here as well. It's all about the secondary defense right now here for Clem. Is he going to be in time? There's not enough units in those bunkers. Will those bunkers even survive? The answer is yes, 1 bunker will survive, which is so important. Marauder needs to get into this bunker, perhaps. No, it's fine. I feel like more is being lost here than absolutely necessary. Clem decides to pull back with his SCVs. That might have been a mistake. That might have been a mistake, but it might have been completely okay as the bunker survives. Tank is finally moving to the low ground. It took a while, but Clem finally sends it down. Now ends up blocking his own ramp. A sloppy defense out of the French Terran, but a defense that perhaps is enough if he gambles correctly up next. But he doesn't. He goes to the incorrect place. Thought MaxPax was going to rotate towards the high ground, but MaxPax remained low. No second bunker was built. No single tank on that low ground. And that means here, ladies and gentlemen, that MaxPax right now in absolutely prime position to continue assaulting this base. Yes, we still have a Raven with plenty of energy that can deal some damage, but Clem right now has way bigger issues that he needs to be dealing with. Stimpack is about to finish up. Marines will gain a massive DPS boost because of that. Do we get to see a stim usage here? Yes, we do. Muse being pulled off the line. Second tank now also moving down. 45 workers to 30 as, a big F2 move here out of Clem. Tried to pull this back. Raven still alive, will throw down 1 of these auto turrets and will snipe... No! Well, will snipe 1 worker and maybe would have gotten a second one, but Clem did not believe anymore. leaving the game as MaxPax wins the series with a 2-1 score. Impressive performance here out of the young Dane, who takes out his French nemesis. Sick game. Honestly, it really felt like Clem was holding after his great start. Well, 5 worker kills, and keeping the medevac alive is always nice. But then gambling incorrect, and it's always frustrating when that happens. Always frustrating when that happens. Well, GG. That's going to be it for me today. Thanks all so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see all of you next time for a new video. Thanks so much for watching, and bye-bye.